This is the longest, fastest track I've ever raced in Lawn Mower Racing. This is the BLMRA cross-country event. 3.5 kilometre racetrack in 4 different fields with woodlands, jumps and super fast straights. We're going to have some incredible racing throughout this weekend and also take you through what an entire Lawn Mower Racing weekend is actually like. Let's get into it. Morning, welcome to a weekend of Lawn Mower Racing. This video is going to be a bit different because I want to show you more of the whole weekend. So we're here at Troopers Inn for the cross country and just heading over for driver's briefing. It's 9 AM. It's going to be a good weekend.
Toby, the ring is on your left. You've either spun or you're on the totally wrong part of the track. Someone's going to be coming towards you.
So because this is such a long, different track this weekend, they loaded us all on the back of this trailer and took us round the track. And I don't really need to tell you, do I? But this goes wrong later.
Right, the track goes over there.
You cosy back there?
Right, I'm going to warn you now, it gets wet here. Here you go. Right, we have a few people to push.
This is ridiculous. Anyway, so no matter how good Sean's rig was, it wasn't going to pull 3 ton of blokes around a soggy wet field, so we had to do a bit of pushing, walking through this section, which is going to come up in the racetrack, which is mental. So we're having a look through here to see what the racing line is going to be. Yeah, very happy with how this track is looking.
Right then, time to try out this cross-country track. I've never driven a track this long. Get on. Right, down this long straight. It's going to be about having the red on your right. Right, down this long straight. There's a little technical chicane up here on the brakes. Whoa, it's slippery. Wowee. Try and get some drive on the way out. Obviously, the grass is still pretty long, still pretty wet, so it's going to be very slippery and then grip up massively throughout the day. So I've got a really long gear on. We're getting to the end of the gear now, so we'll lift off through this top wet corner. It's going to be about getting my weight on the front through some of these sections. Whee! These 3 lads have all just joined for this event. They did a 12-hour against us and they've all bought bugs, which is going to be really good. Way more bugs this time. They're pretty quick. This looks slippery and you don't want to go in that ditch. So the gearing's alright coming out of there, which is really good. The grass is so long. Come on, let's go! Right, through the wooded section, there's barbed wire on the left here. Got to be pretty careful through here. Oh, up and down here. Oh my goodness, this is so good. Yes! Right, back out. We're going quick again. Red on your right. Whee! Come on, Tom! Left. Back on the throttle, and we've nearly done a lap. Down this long straight. This is fun, man, this is fun. Big braking zone. Oh, back down the straight. Let's freaking go. Right, time to fix the tyre pressures, and that will be it.
So in that long grass, the higher tyre pressures are really costing me time, so I was just going to drop the fronts down a fair bit and then the rears down a little bit. All right, that practice was so much fun. That track is so unusual compared to most of them. You can see it's pretty wet in places, but just trying to find where the time is because it's so big, there's so many corners, but oh, so much fun. We're about to go out for this first race. Very, very excited. 10 bugs. We'll see how this one goes. So straight into this first race then, on this incredible circuit while we're lining up looking at the 5 lights, and off we go. So we're in this really filled pack of Group 3s in Tanswell. Multiple British champion comes flying by us, and look at the group behind us. So Stu's going to have a look up the inside. Dino's all over the back of us. Stu does manage to make it happen, but goes in a little bit hot, so I cut him back. But Dino's going to use that to go all the way around the outside. You can see just how good the racing is going to be in this weekend for this video. I'm so excited. Right, let's go. Down into this really technical left into this next field. We're following Dino through. It's really tricky to get the drive on the way out here. Early on in the weekend, this was so slippery. And then behind us, you can still see there's more battles going on behind, more battles going on in front. So as we come down this back straight, I was realizing I was running out of gearing a little bit before everyone else, but so I covered up off the inside to make sure no one could go up there. And you can see Ross and Stu battling behind us. Ross is right up behind us, but can't quite pull out in time to avoid running into the back of us. And so we're going to come around this top corner and I run a little bit wide, and there's a bollard. And we were told if we were going on the crops, then that was an immediate DNF. So we got to stay friends with the farmer anyway. So I had to back out of that one, punt the bollard out of the way, and resume our race. So that was a small mistake there from me. But yeah, these conditions, you know, we only had 2 or 3 laps in practice, and so this is all new to us, so still learning here. It's definitely still in this race, so we're going to try and crack on with it. This corner was so slippery. You can see me trying to get my weight on the nose there to get the front wheels to dig in. That was a lot of this weekend. When it's tricky like this, when it's really slippery, you've got to try and just get that nose turning in. So I'm leaning on the front end and then trying to get on the throttle, and you can see just how claggy and tricky this mud is. I nearly spin there. You have to back off the throttle, and there you need all of the revs you can. You can see everyone's getting stuck there just because you had to get that line perfect to keep your momentum and work your way up this hill. And all the way up here you can hear the engine labouring a little bit because it is so soft. Jumping ahead up in front, the first time through this section, obviously there's going to be a yellow flag, so that's what we're raising our hand there for. So I've foot all over the clutch to make sure I don't stall here as we go through, because it is going to bunch up. So we're following Stu through, up over this mound, and on our way out. That was so much fun for the first time, and every time really through that section. Such a novelty for us, and really brilliant that the BLMRA team put that on for us. So running into this top corner, you can see we've got Cleggy on the orange mower, again British World Champion behind us, and we're trying to hunt down the other guys. So we've got Damien on this number 55 wheel horse, super cool looking machine. He's now out for these last couple of meetings, so great to see him. And we do run wide, so he manages to get us back through. So we're going to follow him through this section. Again, this is going to be another tricky section. We're going through the hedge, and you can see up ahead it's bunched up a little bit. So I'm back on the clutch again, trying to keep the engine alive. Damien has to stop for someone in front. I'm still keeping the engine alive. I actually decide to push him, and then I hit him again, and I managed to stall, and this was so frustrating. And all the way through this weekend, my engine did not want to start. It was dragging the clutch a little bit, and so I had to add the choke a little bit to get everything started. So really frustrating. You can hear me there saying plenty of time, Callum, plenty of time to try and get my head back into this race. So although we had a little bit of a calamitous beginning to that first lap, we're going to try and claw back some positions here. So number 31, another newbie, so you can see from the red bib, but he's just bought that lawnmower to get into lawnmower racing, and he's bought a bug along with his 3 mates, so that's really, really cool to see. So we managed to grab that position. Damien is slightly slow up the hill. I think we've got a little bit more power with our vertical crank engine over his horizontal, and we're following through. So 43, that's one of the Parrott brothers in front again. They bought that mower for the 12 hour, so they're racing them here, and you can see the difference between, I've got a Lonsin engine on and they've got a Honda, and there is a big difference in a straight line. So I felt a little bit bad for them, because that was me a little while ago. But yeah, got to get yourself a Lonsin, because they are so good on these, particularly on the lawn bugs. You can see sliding the rear around all over the place, and as we go up the hill here, I discovered the way to do this was to stay one wheel there on the grass. So one wheel on the harder packed stuff rather than the claggy mud, and that got you your way up the hill. So I got a great run up through there, through the little piff paff chicane, and then we're going to go up towards the wooded section. So just trying to claw back some positions on the bugs in front of me. Again, we're only racing in R class really, so you have to get around the group force to try and keep going, keep momentum. And here's Paul grabbing us some shots whilst marshalling. He managed to grab a lot of my mistakes this weekend on camera, so you'll see some of those throughout this slightly longer video than usual. So pulling up past the Westbourne boys on the Murray there, and we've got Cleggy in our sights. So he's run a little bit wide there. We was unsure what line was best, whether it's to stay inside or go outside, and definitely the inside worked for me there. And so, yeah, this is really cool. Here, this corner was so tricky. You see just how much understeer I've got, and Cleggy manages to get me back, and that was all my mistake. I saw from the lap before that he had to go in there super slowly to get the drive on the way out, so just carrying a little bit too much momentum really hurt me there. We will see that in the data a little bit later. As we go through this section, you can see just how technical it is and how much fun that wooded section was. So many mounds, things all over the place, and so we've got our sights set on Cleggy in front. We're lap 3 out of 5 here, and we have managed to pull up alongside Cleggy. We've got a better run out down this back straight. You can hear I'm yelling, trying to shove the mower on, but Cleggy's just one gear up from us, so where we have to lift to preserve our engine, whereas we're running out of revs, Cleggy can keep it foot hard down, so he does manage to claw the position back. He's a little bit all over the place on the brakes, super tricky under technical conditions, and so he has managed to keep the inside. So I'm going to try and swing out and get a cut back on him here if we can, but the drive on the way out of the corner is fairly even. He manages to cover it off, so I can't go up the inside, and out through this technical section there's such a bump here. You have to be so steady through here, and he does manage to run wide. So we get a little bit of a better run on the way out here, getting up towards 30 miles an hour. About 40 miles an hour was our absolute peak here. As we have a look up the inside, but it wasn't going to happen. Cleggy covering it off. Very experienced. He wasn't going to make that mistake. As I do up here, I have a look up the inside, and it cost me. I tried something a little bit different, and you can see that did not go well. Had to drive our way out of a bush. And that was the end of our race. A really solid position for this first one, but let me tell you, the racing gets absolutely incredible as we get on through this weekend. So we're going to jump straight into this second race after a solid 7th place in the previous one. We're going to try and work our way forwards here, but this was really when we were starting to have some big problems in this weekend. So let me take you through it then. So on our way up the hill, we've got Stuart all over the back of us, hunting us down. He was super quick this weekend. Sean has just gone by, who was absolutely untouchable. As we go into this section, I just don't get enough on the brakes. I got hard on the pedal but couldn't feel enough slowing down. I was very lucky to get through there, and so I wasn't really sure what was going on here. You can see me looking around, everything looks fine. So I pull out here, Stu's going to go up the inside, I get hard on the brakes and nothing happens. We're going to go straight on down here, just complete brake failure, and I was really worried at this stage because you can have rocks come up and take out brake lines, all of those sorts of things. But now I notice what had happened, and you can see just how bad my luck was. A rock got stuck in behind my brake pedal, mean I couldn't slow down. So we're rejoining now in 13th place in class, right behind absolutely everyone. So here I was trying to push as hard as I possibly could to catch up, and I kept making mistakes. You can see here I tried to get on that fresh grass, nothing happened. I'm getting massive wheel spin here, trying to shuffle my weight to get the mower back out. And just because I was in my own head about that mistake earlier, or you know, the mechanical error, it wasn't really, that was one of those unlucky things you get, that I was pushing so hard, and that didn't stop here. And so we're up behind, who is this? This is Jake Parrott. So we're up behind Jake, trying to find our way back past, and you can see again, my straight line speed on this straight is really helping me here, so I didn't have to work too hard for that overtake. A little DRS move, if you like. So we're coming back through here, and you can see just how hard I'm pushing, throwing it over there, and making another mistake. Stalling the engine, spinning around. Jake comes back past. And so, yeah, you can see as soon as this starts to go wrong, it all unravels. So again, that was an 8th place.
That was troublesome.
So that race was really tough then. I had a stone get wedged in between my brake pedal and the body, and so I got on the brakes, nothing happened. So I had to pull that out, get the mower started again and go, and then I kept making mistakes because I was pushing so hard. So this long track means we're drinking loads of fuel. So I've put in like that. This is a 4.5 litre tank. I've put in like that every race, so quite a lot more fuel than usual. So this one I'm going to try and start, well, I'll be starting up the front-ish, try and stay there. So starting up the front, as I said, we get an incredible launch off the start here. So at this point in the weekend, the classes were starting separately. So actually we're going in lead in class into this first lap. And let me tell you, there was some incredible racing through this first lap. As we look behind, look how many lawn bugs there are, all battling it out. We've got Ian Tanswell right behind us, Dino fighting him, and then everyone else behind that. So actually, you're going to see more rear view here than you are forwards. So I'm just a camera car, if you like, here at this stage. So Dino gets an incredible run out of that corner. I actually run a little bit wide. It wasn't the line I was aiming for, so he's going to get a great run. He gets a run all the way around the outside, and then does just get an incredible run down this straight. If we look behind, you're about to see an incredible battle into this first lap. So we've got Stu on the inside, 4 wide, Ian Tanswell, Ross, and Sean Tanswell, and Ross manages to overtake 3 people in one corner. What an incredible move leading into this second section. He's got a great run on us up the hill here. I'm just trying to keep everything tidy, learning from race 1 where we made a mistake there, starting to find the sections of the track that were harder and we get better runs. So if you run through the soft ground, it really does take all of your power and all of your speed. Skipping ahead, Ross does get an incredible run on us. Actually, I think he has to avoid us, and means he runs wide. So Sean is going to have a look around the outside. He's all over the back of us. Everyone's all over the back of us here at this stage, trying to get a run up the hill. I do get cleanly through there. Ross is going to try an alternate line to try and get round. But actually, I think the inside was best here. And so Sean sneaks it up the inside, and here we're about to have another problem in this race weekend. So difficult. I couldn't catch a break here. As we come through this top chicane, little piff-paff section, suddenly listen closely. So the engine revs up, and I know that sound all too well. That is a belt going. So I have to just pull off into the bush, basically, to try and get off the racing line, sticking my hand up so everyone knows what the problem is, and look there, we've got a belt that is just snapped. So I think a rock got in between the pulley and the belt, and then it snapped it. Luckily here, because the track is so long and we had so many people organising it, we had Tiff here out on a quad bike ready to pull us back. Now the only thing I'm thinking about here is that if you don't cross the start-finish line at the end of the race, you get 0 points. So my whole goal here isn't about position really, it's just about not losing as many points as I could if I got a DNF. So Tiff is going to tow us all the way back to the pits. And now I know these races were about 20 minutes long, and a belt takes me about 15 or 20 minutes to switch. So I'm going to run in here for the quickest belt change of my life. Now, on this lawnmower, that includes loosening off the engine to drop the belt tension, getting underneath there, put a new belt in there, get the whole thing battled back up, and try and get back out here. So yeah, seat on, mudguard on, all of that stuff, just to go over the line at the end to collect the points. And we do get an 8th place. So because of so many mechanical problems for other people, we actually get an okay result there and bring back some points from this race. So straight into the next race. Now in this one, I went into it full of hope, hoping that we would get a handle on some of these problems, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. I do sort it out later on in this video, but we're jumping straight in lap 3 or 4, something like that, and we're battling Ross here. So number 77, another very quick driver on a lawn bug, and he is, a great racer, tough to get past, so we're going to have a great battle with him here. As we go down this back straight, I do have a bit more top end than he does. I think that's down to the Lonsin engine helping me do that. But but he manages to hold on to the position there. And as we come around through the pack, he is managing to cut his way through the pack here. So we've got to go chasing after him. That's Chris there, his second ever event. He watched our videos and started Lawn Mower Racing, so that is really, really cool to see. Great to see him out on a mower. And as we come through this section, this is where we encounter our problem. Suddenly, again, it sounds like my belt has come off. Actually, that wasn't the case. In this case, the keyway had jumped out of the pulley. So the pulley was not connected to the engine anymore, meaning I had no drive. And you're going to see another familiar sight here. This time it's Pugs on the quad bike pulling us back to the pits, which was so frustrating. I just felt like all of these problems I'd never had before on a weekend. Yeah, I was having them all together for this one. So I had to kick Emma and Nicola out of the gazebo so I could get to the tools and fix this. You can see I've got it tipped up on its side, got a new keyway in there, got the whole thing sorted and back in so we can go and get some points at the end of this race. So frustrating for this to happen again. But meanwhile, the ladies were having a cocktail afternoon. Just so you can see a bit of what goes on behind the scenes.
Smile, say hello.
If you're not racing.
Cheers.
You having a good day?
It's been lovely, nice and sunny at last.
So meanwhile, we're back on the mower going again. Right, so straight into this race. And this one, I'll say, we didn't have any mechanical problems. We just got on with it in this race. So much, much better result from us. As we come through this top corner, you can see the whole pack streaming through there. 40 mowers or so in this race. Really, really cool to see such great attendance here. Paul also there ready to get the shot, which is really cool as he was marshalling on this post. We're coming through this corner. You can see there's so many people squeezing through there. We're late on the brakes into that corner. There's one with a problem ahead. Dino's going to try around the outside, which he's about to do. But after that, it kind of all settled down. So we're going to jump straight to the next race, getting through them quickly here. Into this top corner, trying to jostle for some position. Again, Ross is around the outside, but can't quite make it work there. As we go through here, Damien opens up the corner, doesn't realise I'm there, and we do run into each other. And you can see just how condensed it is. Look at how many mowers are around through this section. And we got someone sticking it up the inside. It all concertinas. We all ram into each other. That's kind of how it goes. We go up the inside of the number 31 here, but he cuts us back a great move. Again, he only bought that mower a week or two ago, but he's out here racing. Really, really good to see. But unfortunately, again, these guys were all running Honda engines, and this is one of the downsides. It's a lack of top-end speed through there. So as we get on with this race, we had our head down for 4 or so laps. We've caught up with Cleggy here, and we're trying to find our way by, and we do have a look up the inside here. We do just get a run on slightly harder ground and manage to fly through there. So again, picking up more positions. Again, here we're just trying to bring home any result we can. After the luck we've had, I'm definitely having to take a longer viewed perspective on this whole weekend and bringing home some points.
Whee! Let me tell you, that is so much fun. Just, you're going so quick. I looked at the data earlier from the V-Box. We're doing like 37 at the top of the straights, which, because it's soft, normally we would be doing a bit more, but let me tell you, on bumpy tracks that feels really fast. So that went badly. I was just lining up for the race and my seat snapped off, so I've had to pull it apart, get it ready to then weld, so that's going to be tricky. Hoping to go to Alfie or Kenny because I think they've got a welder and they might be able to sort us out, so yeah, one of those, rushing to get it sorted for the next race. Do you reckon they'll let me finish like this?
Yeah. So to explain, we couldn't get this fixed because everyone with a welder was out on the mower. So what I did was rip the seat off, finish the race, collect some points with no seat on, and then very kindly, Alfie was using the Lidl welder they bring as just as a backup and a generator to weld this up for me. I was trying to make this video to show you what lawnmower racing is like, and that is it. So I just broke down, went over to Alfie, he's welded it up for me completely in a field with a bad welder without a welding mask, and then I'm buying him a beer later to say thank you, so not bad. Now, I never actually did get him that beer, so I do owe you one, Alfie, but we're straight into the next one. So as we go down to turn 1, we got Ross on our left. Sean sends it from the back of the grid. What a move there down into turn 1. Incredible move. Managed to get it stopped, didn't hit anyone. Incredible stuff. So through this top corner, all getting very congested again. We're getting fairly used to that. So Ross on the inside, just covering it off. But I do brake a little bit deeper and go all the way around the outside. Managed to get decent grip this time. It was kind of either you stay to the inside for better drive out the corner, or you try and carry enough momentum to compensate from that. But Ross has gone around the outside. We got Dan Mackinnon in the middle. And we are going to try and move up the inside. Dean's gone round all three of us, 3 in one go. Look at that into the next corner. Manages to cover it off. And we got Ross on our outside, so we've got to leave him space as we come through here into this next downhill straight. Really kind of soft in places. You've got to pick your line quite carefully through here. So we've got a battle up ahead now. Once we've cleared Ross and a couple of the really quick Group 3s have got ahead, we're kind of in no man's land in terms of our class. And so what I'd been doing all day was going Group 4 hunting. Technically they are the faster class, but this track definitely favoured a lawn bug more. So I think the performance was really even. So we're chasing Matt Lewis on this number 33 wheel horse in front, and we had a great battle with him in this race. So excited to show you that. As we come down this back straight, we got a great run, and as we come in through here, I found loads of grip on the inside here, so I get alongside Matt. Now, going into this top hairpin, I know if I can put some pressure on him, he might make a mistake here, and that is exactly what he does. Often, if you show the outside, it puts pressure on people to nail their braking and makes it much tougher for them. So he goes a little bit deep, and we managed to grab that position. And then down this back straight, I had incredible speed down here against the Group 4s. I don't know what it was about the lawn bug. Maybe it's just that we're lighter with the same power as a Group 4. But I did manage to get the position. But down into this bottom corner, Pete Skew managed to grab it back. So we've got number 99 here. And on another wheel horse, he comes past us, and this is the lap where it all went wrong. Through here, I came up around the corner, was trying to get on the throttle, and everyone stalls. I managed to drive up on a log and can't get myself off. Number 99 offers me a pull out of there. But this was a tricky one. I had to lift it back up. Obviously, the mower stalled, get it back started, and that kind of ended our race there at that point. But there is much more to this weekend. We've got loads going on this evening, and then loads of racing tomorrow. And let me tell you, the racing on the second day was absolutely incredible.
So for half of that race, I was hanging on because the seat snapped. We tried riding it up in the field, and that didn't work just because it's gasless welder and it's running off a generator. So yeah, I've just given it to Sean, who's going to take it home, weld it up at home, and bring it back.
So I'm trying to take you through all the things I normally wouldn't show in one of these videos.
Wait for the vlog. Say hello. You're in the video.
So we all went to the Troopers Inn pub for our end of year award ceremony. So the whole club was in there for some drinks, and then also the awards presentation. So here was Jensen grabbing the British Championship. He's won it, well, his dad's won it so many years, and he took it this year. Incredible performance from him. And then also we've got Alfie, who took the Group 4 Championship. Looks like he enjoyed that one. Great performance from him all the way through the year. Definitely the class of the field. And then I actually won a trophy, but not for being fast. Do you like it?
Absolutely love it.
So I was very kindly given that for helping the club out with some social media stuff before the 12-hour, and so really cool. And then the whole evening kind of got away from us. A few sore heads in the morning.
You're on the vlog again.
Time for a piece of cake now.
What is it? It's 11 o'clock.
Welcome to the snack zone.
Morning, I forgot to video. So, woke up this morning, checked over. Oh, Emma's in bed. So woke up this morning, checked over the mower and found a flat tyre. There was lots of thorny sections, so changing it over, got a brand new inner tube, and that's the old dead one. So that's going on there. Sean welded up my seat for me, so it's got a few lovely welds on there. So that should be all good to go now. So just to put this on, and then we're going out racing.
So sorry to everyone I pointed a camera at first thing in the morning after a long night. But we're going to get this tyre fixed. So these are split rims. So you take them apart, put the inner tube in, tyre back on, whole thing back together. Spins nice and freely. Some Loctite on there because we don't want that bolt coming off.
Right, so just sitting down this morning, because I've got this V-Box unit, I can now look at all of my laps, figure out where I was gaining, losing time, what the difference in the track was, all of that sort of thing. So because of that tiny little unit that's sat on the mower, recording GPS at ridiculous frame rate, it also does acceleration, a load of other things. So now I am in the future going to get like an old phone to go on my steering wheel that will read me delta, so I can see my lap times, like from up or down, so I can go into a corner, try a different line and see if it was faster or slower immediately. And in lawnmower racing, everything is about learning as fast as possible. I think that'll be a really useful tool. All right, so we've got this open. You can see the laps of the track, like the actual lines we're doing, all of the speed. So like here it's telling us our top speed was about 38 miles an hour. And then all the way up here we can see all of the best laps. So this was that final race where I had the seat brake. So you can see at the start of the race I was doing slower lap to start, and then 312s, 314s, and then there's a big jump here to 316, and then I kind of did similar lap times to that afterwards. So here I lost a load of time, and you can really clearly see that in this delta going up, and that's because my minimum speed through this section here, and that's where I lost a load of time. So I can kind of figure out what line I was doing and why that happened if I compared it to the video. And here in this section I gained loads of time. So I broke a little bit earlier, got on the throttle earlier, and came out way faster, and you can see the delta rose loads. So I gained loads and loads of time through that section. Loads we can learn from this data.
So thank you very much to VBox for sending that unit over. It's been epic to have already, learnt so much from it. So we're going to head into this first corner, and things are going to open up on the inside, and we're going to chuck it down the inside of a couple of lawnmowers, still taking it a little bit steady. Down into this first race, still not sure what the conditions are going to be like. It rained overnight, and so conditions are going to get very tough. We've got Tourisma fly off there with much more power, so they run up to 18 horsepower, something like that, but they're able to race with us. So as we go ahead, you can see everyone's battling so close for positions already. It's going to open up on the inside of 31, not quite there, so I have to back out, but down this back straight I think we're going to be able to get him. Things are hotting up behind as well. There were battles throughout the field the whole way through this weekend. As we skip ahead, we've got our first target, if you like, Ian Tanswell, as I mentioned earlier, multiple British champion. We have a look up the inside, there's not quite space, just a little bit, and we actually have to avoid number 71 who spins on the exit. Lots of people were spinning there, and you're going to see one later on that wasn't nice. So yeah, 56, Ian Tanswell in front, very experienced racer. He used to win everything back in the day, and so we're going to try and follow him as number 27. That's not Alfie, but he's on Alfie's mower. But anyway, so we have a look up the inside of this final corner, and Ian's got a great run out. You can see me deploying a bit of human DRS there, tucking our head down out of the wind. And I actually checked this in the data, and it was gaining me some time at the early part of the straights. So we have a look down the inside of Ian, and we do manage to get that move done, cover it off on the apex, get it stopped in time. And you can see we've really ground away at the dirt there. So it was kind of down to gravel at this point. Half a lap later, and we have managed to catch Ross, and he makes a slight mistake, costing him some time on the way out. And just here he does get a little bit too sideways, but manages to hang on to it. I think definitely in these tougher conditions, where Ross was a little bit quicker than me all day yesterday, I think I started to have the edge here. And you can see I've got a great run down the back here, but we've got a group 4 to negotiate. He looks around the outside, doesn't go for it, and I'm just trying to keep things tidy on the inside. And so this battle is really hotting up between myself, Ross, and this group 4 here. You're kind of having to negotiate traffic as you go through the pack. You know, everyone kind of has different pace in different places, so you've got to make the most of that. So as we look ahead there, we are going to manage to overtake Ross here, but it was down to some external factors, so let me say that. So he goes up the inside of Jensen, and I have a look around the outside, again negotiating traffic. You can see just how bumpy it is down here after a full day of racing yesterday and then a bit of rain overnight, and it's going to start raining again today. Ross very sideways through there, but keeping a hold on it. He defends to the inside. We're going to have a look around the outside. I knew that was a bit of a risky move, but I was hoping that Ross might go in a little bit deep. He has, but not enough for us to get a move around the outside. I have a look here. Again, he's got the inside covered, so I'm going to try around the outside, and I know that I'm definitely on the low ground here. So Ross manages to cover it off. I have a look at the switchback. It's not quite there. Again, he's on the ground that is a little bit better for getting a run out of there. So that's not quite going to happen. So now, watch closely. As we go through this corner, we've got a spinner ahead, and Ross has to avoid him, and he gets almost taken out. So that was Dan Mackinnon. If you look here, he'd spun, and I think he was trying to rejoin, not realising that Ross was coming through. And so Ross aimed at a gap that then suddenly closed. And so that gave us, you know, the bad luck for Ross gave us that position. And now, judging on how close we were in performance, I was able to just, you know, keep that gap until the end.
I think that was a third. We'll take that. Ross got unlucky with that rejoin, but I made most of it, managed to stay in front of him, so that was fun.
And he definitely did get unlucky there. So this one, I actually got there late to the start of the race. So you can see I haven't got my gloves on, didn't have time. There wasn't much time to turn the mower around and get everything sorted between races here. And you can see the rain is starting to come down. Now, into this first lap, Ross does get a little bit sideways again. Some of us electing to go goggleless because it was so tricky to see. You got mud and rain on your visor, you had to get rid of it. As we go through, you get slightly up on two wheels, we have a look around the outside, but through the gap in the hedge there was definitely only space for one mower. So again, some human DRS head down for maximum pace down this straight. He's covering the inside, so we're going to have a look around the outside again. This Lonsin engine did me a lot of favours this weekend. So turning into this bottom corner, we're going to come out to finish this race. I managed to keep the gap to Ross. I managed to bag those points, again trying to redeem ourselves from yesterday's problems. Now we're going to jump into this race, and this was the hardest battle I had all weekend in this race. So I really want to show you this. So going down into this bottom corner, chuck it down the inside again, finding space there. I think everyone's trying to open up the corner a little bit early, so I was managing to throw it down there late on the brakes, get it turned in there. So again, load of mowers in front to navigate, trying to find our way through there. And you can see now, with that bit of rain, just how sideways we're going to be. It got really, really tricky. I actually dropped my tyre pressures down to almost nothing to try and get some grip here. As we go through this top corner, very congested. We got Ross in our sights. He's our main target here at this stage. And down this back straight, again, using that better straight line speed. But actually through this little piff-paff chicane, there isn't enough space for two of you. So as we turn into this top corner here, I'm going to make another mistake here. So I try and get on the brakes on the inside, and there is just no grip. I can't get the mower stopped, and I actually hit Ross and push him wide into the hedge a little bit there, and I felt awful about that. And again, from that kind of impact, you know, you just let the mower back by. So I'm going to let Ross back by, try and restore things to how things were before I screwed it all up. And that is something I like about the racing here, you know, in lawnmower racing in general, is that it is very fair. People keep it pretty clean. If we make mistakes, we hold our hands up. So I'm definitely going to stick to those rules. And as we go through here, we're actually going to have another incident. So Ross heads into this bottom corner, and I managed to get a really great drive out. I definitely found I had better traction, I think, because I was running such low tyre pressures. But actually, I'm going to speak too soon here. I come in a little bit hot on the brakes and kind of half spin, and that means Ross hits us, and unfortunately in that he stalled. So I kind of cost him his race there, really, at that stage. It was one of those unfortunate incidents. But we're going to jump straight into race 4, and this is where the conditions really started to get incredibly tricky. We had rain coming down all day, and as we head into this top section, keep your eyes dead ahead, because there's a little bit of an incident here. Bollards flying all over the place. I had to take avoiding action there. And as we come through this bottom corner again, we're trying to hunt Ross down. He is our nemesis for this battle and this weekend. I knew I was fighting with him for third position and a trophy in this one. And again, I think this rear grip cost Ross there. I definitely think he was struggling with that, and my much lower tyre pressures helped. So I managed to grab it in that race and get another. Now, I'm not going to show you the whole of this race because my camera ran out of battery, but keep an eye on the outside here. Here is Sean Tanswell sending it all the way around the outside. Oh, I think that's about 6 mowers, and then another one into this bottom corner. He was the absolute class of the field this weekend, fastest on track in most of the races, considering he's in a Group 3, which isn't the top class here racing. We've got tourist Group 4s and then Group 3s. He was definitely making the most out of this being a track that kind of suits this class. He was doing an incredible job. And actually, this is where we're going to run out of battery in this race. Now, I completely forgot to film
today, but racing's over. That last race was absolutely incredible, but the camera had run out of battery. It was a lot to turn around between races, but I got Stu and then he got me back, so and then it was like a final lap, final corner overtake to get the win, which would have been really cool to show you, but unfortunately not.
So in that final race, it was a second place, and we're going into this final prize giving. Again, slightly rainy here, but trying to show you all the things you don't normally see of a race weekend. So here is Tricky, who's organised the whole weekend, and he's giving out all the trophies for this one. Now, I didn't know how we got on, but we're not told the points throughout the weekend. We don't know how it is all going to work itself out, and so I didn't know if I got enough points to bag that podium that I really wanted. So here is kind of when we found out.
Third place in Group 3.
Third place in this one. Very, very happy with that. Now, I have so much winter content. We've got 2 lawnmower builds and loads more racing, so please do drop a subscribe for more over this winter. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one.